and welcome to MonoRants at the Movies, a podcast where we rewatch cult and lesser-known films and occasionally get way too loose when talking about them. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades, Mono, and returning from the hell dimension via black hole is my co-host and master of none, Kira.
I had a good time.
Yep, that's right. We are ranting about 1997's Event Horizon, another critically panned genre-crossing flick like last week, but this one has the distinction of having garnered a bit of a cult following in the years since its release.
It's a good film.
Oh yeah, we love this one. And I have a feeling today's record might be a bit of a combo of the last 2 weeks. So
we're sorry.
Yeah, so let's start by telling professional critics why they were wrong.
Okay.
Before we devolve into some filth mongering about hell orgies.
Let me get my little puffy. I can't remember the name. Pipe. That's
a pipe.
The one.
You couldn't remember the word for pipe.
Yeah.
Oh, that does not bode well.
I know. It's gonna be a fun day.
This rates slightly better than last week's Bunraku on Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot. It had 35% on Metacritic.
Again, it's...
And 27 on Rotten Tomatoes. And again, fuck to both of you.
Yeah. Number one, amazing cast.
Yeah. No, it's a great cast.
It was a powerhouse cast for the time.
Yeah.
Sam Neill obviously was, what was this, 97?
97, yeah.
Yeah, you had Jurassic Park in 94, which is like the thing most people
he would have been
know him from.
Yeah.
You've got Lawrence Fishburne, who's been like, he started in Apocalypse Now when he was like 14. Yeah. And has just been like striding through life, winning everybody with his gravelly voice and presence.
Yeah.
He is young in this, but he, as the captain, is completely believable.
Oh yeah, well we'll get on to the characters in a bit, but yeah, you've got the two of them as your leading men, and then you've got the ever lovable Jason Isaacs and Sean Pertwee.
Yes, two of my favourite people in the world.
The super classy Joey Richardson.
Yeah.
And then the others that I wouldn't know as much would be Kathleen Quinlan. Is it Justin Richardson? The guy, or not Justin Richardson? What's his name?
He plays Justin.
The guy who plays Justin. He's Jack Noseworthy. Jack Noseworthy. I'm getting better at names. Jack
He
Noseworthy
is very much the baby of the crew. He's the rookie. He's the one that, like, in every film they have him, and you always root for him because he's adorable.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else.
I was looking through his IMDb, and he has been chugging. Like, he's been very successful in his career.
Oh yeah, and
it's just not anything we would watch.
Yeah, and the way
and it's like single episodes of a lot of things and stuff like that.
The way that he's talked about in the like cast and crew interviews, everybody talks about him like he's been working loads and in loads of things, and I was like,
he'd already been in a lot of stuff before
Yeah.
this, but it is because it was like one episodes of things or small roles in films that are mostly romantic dramas, so totally not our bag. But we haven't seen him.
Great cast, and really interestingly, the crew behind the cameras.
Oh my god.
I'm not talking about writer or director here, but like DPE, Adrian Biddle, I can't remember really many of the names of the others, but there was a whole lot of people who worked on like Aliens, Blade Runner, like all these massive sci-fis from back in the day. A lot of his like VFX crew and
his
set design crew.
His set designer and his production design should get all the recognition for this. The same with Bunraku. The core room.
Oh, it's amazing.
Is just stunningly beautiful.
But it's genuinely surprising to me that with the crew they had behind the camera and the crew they had in front of the camera, that it was panned as bad as it was, because I avoided this film when I was younger. It came out when I was about 12, and I think I saw bits of it when it first came out on VHS.
Oh, I wouldn't have watched it when I saw it. You actually made me watch this. I'm not good with horror, you know this. It took me a long time to work out which horror in particular I can't watch, because apparently I can watch like slasher flicks and I can watch things like this now.
Clowns and small Japanese children are your like
no-go
areas for
Asian horror and suspense horror. We watched The Woman in Black, and well, you watched it and I hid behind you.
Yeah, suspense horror is not your bag. You like buckets of gore.
But this I can watch, because even though this is very much a haunted house movie in space.
Yeah.
It's a nice mix of the suspense with actual like visceral imagery that makes my brain stop imagining horrible shit.
One of the critical reviews I read was quite clever. because it said the film presents a great sense of foreboding and afterboding, but there's no boding.
Yeah.
And I thought that's very clever.
I was
but
afraid
untrue.
to go to the bathroom by myself after watching
this.
this.
I thought it was untrue, because there's plenty of boding for me.
Yeah.
Like when shit actually starts to go down, I really enjoy it. But that was the thing, as I steered clear of this film because I knew it got panned at the time, the whole way through my teenage years, and I didn't watch it probably till I was about 18 or 19. And when I did sit down to watch it, I was like, this is fucking brilliant. Like, this is made for me. I love this film. So yeah, I fuck those critics. Like, I know they get paid for it, and they probably went to college for it, and they probably know a lot more about movies than me, but I know what I like, damn it.
Yeah, well, in fairness, their matrix for reviewing would be quite different to ours. Like, critical review, you know this yourself. Yeah. Looking at something in a critical fashion is a totally different ballgame to us shouting on about how much we just enjoy it and think it should be enjoyed for what it is.
Well, also, I'm of the opinion that if you're...
I'm just going to Roger Ebert to see what...
His was the boating one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a lot of films that get unfairly shit on because they're reviewed by critics who review things for the mainstream. And I know they're getting released in mainstream cinemas, but like... Oh,
he gave it 2 stars at the time.
Like, but now it is regarded now as having a cult status, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, and even again on IMDb, it's got like 6.7 or 6.8 or something like that.
That makes no sense. They gave it 2 stars, but as I'm skimming through, the person who watched this like actually genuinely enjoyed it, but they still only gave it 2 stars.
Yeah, it's like they're afraid to enjoy films that don't have amazingly deep characters and super witty scripts and things like that. And it's like, there's a lot more to fucking films than that, guys, especially genre films. Like, this is a sci-fi horror film, and it does both of those things extremely well.
And opens up an awful lot of questions that you can go on and discuss afterwards. This coming from a theological background, this opens up all sorts of like really interesting discussion lines for me. And there's other movies that do that as well, where they may not be the best shot thing in the world or the most amazing looking thing in the world, but if you go away and are still discussing it years later, that's an impact. Like Donnie Darko is the other one that for me would always, when Donnie Darko came out and everybody had a theory about who the bunny was and what was going on and this, that and the other.
That was a bit of a critical darling though.
Yeah, but I don't think that's that good of a film.
Oh no, I enjoy it. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but I definitely enjoyed Donnie Darko.
Yeah, but I wouldn't rewatch it like this, and it does annoy me when things like that are like, I'm going to really piss off some people here, but the same thing with like Silver Linings Playbook. I watched that and was like, why did this win an Oscar?
Well, you know me and dramas.
Yeah.
I just don't watch them.
Like, I can get into a good drama. I do like my good, a good meaty drama. And I was just like, oh, okay, this one won an Oscar. I like Jennifer Lawrence. I like what she does. I always think she's entertaining. Like, I hadn't really seen, I've forgotten his name.
That's Bradley Cooper, isn't it?
Yes, it is. In fairness, up to that point, I'd only seen him in Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see him in
something else.
Yeah, he'd been known mostly for like comedy, and I'd seen him in this one horror, and I wanted to see him in this. And it's also got I'm really bad with names today. In general, from Meet the Parents, Robert De Niro. Don't ask me why I had to go
Meet
that.
the Parents.
I know.
Of all the Robert De Niro films, and you went Meet the Parents.
I couldn't think of a single gangster film he's been in. And I knew he had been in that, and I was like, oh yeah,
We only watched Joker a while ago.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that. I really didn't like Joker.
Oh, that's a whole different rant.
Yeah.
But fuck critics.
It didn't move me.
Yeah, I think I harped on about this a bit last week, but like these type of films aren't made, like there's genre films are made for genre fans, and if you're not a genre fan, you're not going to enjoy it, so why would you review it? Like, I know it pisses me off because I feel it unfairly harms a lot of deadly genre films.
Especially when you get like, so for a lot of publications, I'm not going to shit all over critics now, but for a lot of publications, or on radio and things like that, they would only have one critic that covers like all films.
Yeah, and they're critiquing for a general audience.
You're going to get bias in that regard. But then when you go to things like is it Neptune who do the horror movie awards?
Yeah, if you go to a specific site that is for
these
sci-fi films or horror films or
those. That's the thing that's the way life is, though, unfortunately.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why we never do and probably never will rate films on these podcasts, because
there's no point.
It's unnecessarily reductive. It really is.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I steered clear of this film that I completely love for a good 7 or 8 years because it was known as a critical bomb.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it.
And then you go to the cinema to see something that's been like hugely hyped up and is going to be amazing, and you walk out and you're like, I need my money back.
Yeah, well, I'm not a drama person, and I've never been a fan of like Oscar bait films. Some of them, yeah, but generally speaking, drama's not my bag.
No.
Like that's what real life is for. Movies are for escapism, to me. You know, so I like action films, I like sci-fi films, and I like ridiculous comedy films, and I like ridiculous horror films, and I don't like dramas. Yes. Or rom-coms. I think I said that last week. I think I made that pretty fucking clear last week or the week before.
Which is hilarious because I have a massive soft spot for like 80s rom-coms.
You have a massive soft spot for a lot of things I don't like.
Yeah.
And it tends to be things that are very cheesy. 80s power ballads.
Oh God,
80s rom-coms.
Yes. Disney movies.
80s hair.
Disney
it's a lot of
movies.
80s stuff.
Yeah, Disney's movies. All the great...
I don't hate Disney movies.
All the great Don Bluth animation.
Again, I don't hate them. I just haven't watched them as many.
They're number one terrifying. A lot of them, when I watch them now, like The Secret of Nim and All Dogs Go to Heaven and even Ferngully to a degree, are scary.
Oh well, like kids films nowadays don't terrify kids anymore.
Yeah, it was back when like traumatizing kids was the bag.
Yeah.
Probably explains why I only watch horror now. It's good memories.
Yeah, I'm going to rein us back in a little bit.
Okay.
And go for a quick summary of the film.
Yeah.
Because
12 minutes in.
yeah, we probably should at this point. I mean, and I think at this point most people, a lot of people know roughly.
It's a haunted house
film in space.
Yeah, so you get this film called The Event Horizon, or this ship.
I have a summary written.
Okay. Just in case.
No, I always have a summary written because when you do summaries, you like...
I lose all...
Yeah, you take... a 10-minute summary is not a summary.
No.
But for an actual summary, in the near future, deep space research vessel the Event Horizon suddenly reappears after a mysterious disappearance 7 years prior. But when the Horizon's architect and a rescue crew board the ill-fated ship, they realise it may have reappeared with no souls aboard, but they're definitely not alone.
That's pretty succinct. Yeah, it's a haunted house film in space.
Yeah, and we seem to pick like relatively simple plot films to cover.
Can
be reduced down to a simple plot.
a simple plot film because I can lose myself in it.
And
if I'm trying to keep track of 14 different plots in the one time, I lose all interest in it, which is why I've probably never sat through an entire Godfather film.
And I mean, I think we mentioned before, and I did kind of enjoy it at the time, but Kong Skull Island. It has so many fucking characters and so many different things going on. I
just needed the guy, the girl, and the monkey.
Yeah, I don't remember a shitload of that film. Whereas I remember nearly all of this film because it's a simple plot. It's 8 or 9 characters, and
I think the worst one for overcomplicated plot and characters going missing was Inglourious Bastards. Because 4 or 5 of them just disappeared.
Get me started.
Yeah.
Do not get me started.
But that's a prime example of there was a huge ensemble cast, and then halfway through the film, half of them literally disappear and are never mentioned again, and nobody ever notices it.
I did notice this time watching it that Jolie Richardson's character
is barely
present for the first 2 acts of the film, and then spends the entire last act of the film getting thrown around the place and covered in blood.
Sean Pertwee's character would be the same, but
his is the reverse nearly. Super heavy.
They've been sent off to kind of do tasks, and because they never, apart from maybe the initial briefing scene, they're never that kind of initial activity of them going into launch and going into the couches and that. They're never really together. And
that's fair. She's present a fair bit.
They separate them all out.
She's present a fair bit at the start of the film. It's just once they get onto the Event Horizon, she's kind of forgotten about it a little.
Well, in fairness, it's a mammoth ship.
But also, she's the nearest thing to a final girl.
Yeah.
In this film.
She's the Ripley. She's the one that has to survive, you know?
I think maybe they just didn't want to over-focus on her because this is a film where the side characters don't suffer.
No.
Like, I really love the side characters in this film, especially like DJ and Cooper and Smith are brilliant.
Yes.
Which I suppose is a good segue into talking about the characters in the film. We have our Sam Neill as our ship's architect that I mentioned.
Oh, Sam Neill. I adore Sam Neill. Always have. It's fun to see him as a villain type because whenever you tend to see him in things, especially like for me, Jurassic Park was my introduction to Sam Neill, and he is Dr. Grant. He will always be Dr. Grant. Mm-hmm. I will never ever be able to lose Dr. Grant.
No.
And I will search for it in every other character he does.
Very little Dr. Grant in this, though.
No, but this is so fun because from the very get-go, you don't know if he's entirely...
Yeah,
there. He designed the ship. They're trying to design a faster than light engine.
Yeah.
FTL.
Yeah, that's what it turns out that.
It was billed as
for.
Being like a deep space surveillance vessel.
Yeah, research vessel. But what it actually was
it had gone out past Neptune, which was the furthest reaches that humanity had gone. Which, number one, wrong, because at that point Voyager was already when this movie came out
manned spaceflight.
Okay, yeah, but yeah.
And hey, look,
Voyager.
this movie also said that in 2015 we'd have a colony on the moon, and by 2032 we'd be mining Mars. So
yeah, no, we haven't been back to the moon since what, 1971?
72, I think.
72.
But yeah,
Now we've managed to colonize Mars with tiny well, I say tiny, they're the size of a fucking car. Robots.
Yeah, we've got some robots on Mars. That's pretty fucking cool to me.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't turn into that planet from Futurama.
But
that hates all the humans. It's all the robots.
Yeah, I kind of wish that there was a colony on the moon by 2015. That would have been awesome.
Been fun. But they're trying to design faster than light travel. That's actually what this was. It was a top secret mission disguised as a research vessel.
Yeah.
Because presumably, I don't know, they don't want somebody to know. Weir has designed this whole thing, built it. You also find out I always thought his wife was on the crew originally until you get that flashback later on.
Yeah, well, that's... I mean, there's...
but
the early point is very little... You just know, he has... he's lost his wife at some point just because he's got a whole lot of pictures and stuff around.
Yeah.
But he plays the role brilliantly because he dances on that line between, a man of science and somebody who's completely obsessed, and you're never sure because he designed the ship and it went missing.
Yeah. It's his albatross.
Yeah, his obsession with it and like wanting to get on board and wanting to find out exactly what happened. It could be understandable as somebody whose life work suddenly disappeared and he wants to know exactly what happened. Or I could be somebody who's really unbalanced and something is actually wrong with them. Yeah, and he plays he balances that aspect of the role so well because we talked about it with Bradley Cooper, that kind of mental degradation.
You never quite know. Having watched this film, I don't know how many times over the years, you never know if he goes crazy or if he's already crazy and just hiding it really well.
Yeah, because at other points in the film, other characters almost seem to get kind of possessed, or they're certainly not using their full faculties and do things they wouldn't normally do. But with him, you could read it as some of his actions are like that, like everybody else, or you could read it as that's the truer Weir and everything else is the act.
He's very similar to the other Dr. Weir, not the Atlantis Dr. Weir, but the Universe Dr. Weir.
Rush.
Yeah, sorry, he's Dr. Rush.
Rush from Stargate Universe,
In that, like, you never know in that if Rush is actually crazy or does he have some genius scheme.
Yeah, and he does...
It's a very interesting trait to be able to convey so well and so believably because it's very small things like the way he's trying to placate some of the crew later on comes across as so disingenuous. And you don't even want him to touch you
when he
goes to put his hand to comfort somebody and they're like, no, fuck off away from me. And just
when they're all seeing freaky shit and he's trying to be like, no, there's perfectly reasonable explanations because he's so fucking science blind.
Yeah, but it's just, and this dismissive nature of the tone and everything, like he just you don't really know if he's just an asshole.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of my favourite Sam Neill roles, and equally Lawrence Fishburne is one of my favourite roles. Lawrence Fishburne playing Captain Miller.
Oh my god, he's such a good captain.
And yeah, he's
a good captain.
He is one of the best space captains I've ever seen because there's like a couple of points throughout the film where he's just so bang on and professional about it. Like at the start when they're going out for the rescue mission and he explains to Weir, he says, look, this is the furthest out we've ever gone. The last time anybody went even close to this far to do a space rescue mission, everybody died, including the rescue crew. We were supposed to be on leave and now we've been asked to do this.
What was he said? There was something like 300,000.
A couple of billion kilometres from
like any sort of rescue. So they were completely on their own. They're going after this ship that it's been missing for 7 years that's in a degrading orbit. So it's actually entering Neptune's upper atmosphere, which in and of itself is a dangerous position to be in. Yeah. Because it can break apart.
But he's always very matter of fact and fair. And he's never, like when he's saying things like that in other films, it might be I don't appreciate some science guy coming on board my mission and telling me what to do, but it never comes across as that.
No, it's just, you need to know this, you need to be aware of this, these are the details, this is the cold hard truth of this situation, and you need to be made aware of it.
And even later, when Cooper comes having seen some freaky shit, and Weir's character is basically entirely dismissive of it, Miller turns around and is like, listen, I believe Cooper saw something. I'm not saying I believe what he thinks it is, but I believe he saw something, and I want you, Weir, to give me an explanation as to what could have caused it.
Yes.
And
you're the science guy. Do us some science, you know?
Like, yeah, that's how
science
you diffuse...
it up, science man.
That's how you diffuse a situation. You know, I believe my guy.
Yeah.
And I want you to figure out what happened.
But he
plays
Miller,
it that way the whole way through.
It's really funny though, because as I watch him as Miller, obviously Morpheus was my first introduction to Lawrence Fishburne. And
yeah, this was pre-Morpheus, pre-Matrix.
This was pre-Matrix, and the speech from the second Matrix film and the big, you know, it basically his tribute to the Warriors, can you dig it speech?
Yeah.
And you can hear that, you can get those echoes of why he was chosen to play Morpheus.
The man
there's
has gravitas.
Yeah, there's parts of his delivery in this, and you could actually hear him being like, you can do that, Neo.
Yeah. But those are our two lead characters.
And fair fucks to him, he had a hard ass role in this.
Oh yeah.
He really did. Like, all of them basically were kind of tortured for the entirety of this film.
Yeah, by no means was it a fun filming schedule, it seems. It was very tight, and there was a lot of
and they also filmed in the middle of winter in Pinewood on the James Bond stage, which is basically a giant metal barn.
Yeah, where
with no heating, and they were getting doused in blood and water and having just extreme, being hung upside down. Yeah,
having to wear like spacesuits that weighed like 70 kilos.
They had to build them like leaning posts because they couldn't sit down in them.
Yep.
But they were there's a lot of wire work in it, obviously being a space film. So the actors got put through some fucking amount of crap on top of having to actually portray these vast emotions that they're doing. The fear and the horror, and especially for Kathleen Quinlan, the loss and the guilt.
Because the other characters that we've got then are the rest of the crew of Lewis and Clark. Yeah. You've got Kathleen Quinlan, as you just mentioned, is Peters. And she's kind of the mom of the group.
She looks after everybody. She's also a mom herself and has been removed from her child in this.
Had to leave them behind while she's gone on this rescue mission.
Which also coincided with the actor's real life, where she had to leave her quite young son in America while she was coming and filming this. So she said that was actually kind of a help for her.
Yeah,
she's the mom of the group. She looks after all of them.
Yeah, you've got Stark, who's the
lieutenant.
Yeah, she's the XO on board the Lewis and Clark. She's a bit kind of strong woman.
She's very she's very by the book and proper.
Yeah,
you know, she's the XO. She's second in command. She does shit properly because she doesn't want to be. You know, they're a tight knit group, but at the same time, she always has that level of authority. And
what I do like about her is they don't play up I know I made the strong woman joke there, but they don't play it up too badly. Like, there's a few scenes where she kind of gives as good as she get with the rest of the crew when they're trying to give her shit. But it's never like Katie Sackhoff's character in Riddick.
In Riddick,
which is just like cliche upon cliche upon cliche. To the point where she's a lesbian that basically only needs a good dick to turn her. It's just terrible. Whereas in this, she's, as I say, she's strong. She's able to give the rest of the male crew shit, but they never go over the top and overboard with it. Like, and it's kind of indicative of a woman who's had to. She's, as I say, she's second in command on the ship. So she has to know how to wield authority. She has to know how to be able to take and give shit and portrays that really well.
There's a lot of respect there as well when she's like, at the second she gets up to leave the board and is like, come on, Smithy, and he's like, yes, ma'am.
Because the rest of the crew are a bunch of messers as well. Most of them.
They're all a bunch of tossers.
Smithy is Sean Pertwee, and he's the pilot, and he's just like, he's a bit of a typical like.
He's a lovable goof. He's very much the if you play Mass Effect, the Maverick characters.
Which one?
Who's the pilot in Mass Effect?
Joker,
sorry, I was close. Maverick.
I'm
really bad with names today.
You were terrible with names. But
but like, you know the way Joker's like a little bit adorable. It's also Seth Green, so it's always going to be adorable. But you feel like he's the clean version of Smithy.
Yeah, because he's got the same thing of you know, this ship is my baby.
It's my baby, not touchy.
But I love Sean Pertwee and everything he's in. But yeah, he's a messer. Cooper's character is definitely
I loved
a messer.
When they introduced Dr. Weir around the ship and they're like, Cooper, what exactly do you do?
Yeah, he's like, I'm basically just the handsome one.
I'm the handsome one and whatever you need. I'm your friend.
But before they go into their little grav couches, and Captain Miller says, Cooper, your bunk better be squared away. And later on, when there's a dream sequence that Weir is having, he walks past the bunk section and all the bunks are closed except for Cooper's, which is only half closed, and there's a lot of shit hanging out of it, which was just a little nice bit of attention to detail. And then you've got
Mr. Justin,
who's he's the baby of the group, and he's very eager. But it's not annoyingly eager.
No.
And then after that is just DJ, who's the ship's medic. Not really a messer, but I love Jason Isaacs.
You get the feeling off DJ that DJ has been through some shit.
Yeah,
DJ's definitely got some fucking trauma going on. Like, I feel like Jason Isaacs probably grew up watching MASH.
Yeah.
And took a lot of that conflict and trauma that you get in MASH in the way they're all portrayed as combat doctors, and he put that into this.
And he's a nice counterpoint to Weir's skepticism, because he's not quick to be like, oh, some freaky horror shit's going down here, but he's very pragmatic about it, and then he's very empathetic towards the other characters who are experiencing that stuff.
Yeah.
He never belittles them or anything like that. So yeah, again, you can see this as being the personality of somebody who's a medic, that has that caring side to their personality outside of just physically helping them.
Except for the fact that they all smoke like fucking chimneys as well.
Oh yeah, they all smoke.
Which is hilarious, because I'm like, you're on a spaceship. Oxygen is limited. And don't all of you have a fag at the same time?
I'm going to consider that a segue into talking about the setting in the world, because they're just smoking on a spaceship, and it's like, you're going on a rescue mission.
Where you have to go into suspended animation for like the 9 months it takes to get there in these grav couches, which is nice because they actually explain that.
One point at a time, and I'm not done bitching about smoking on a spaceship.
Oh, okay.
So we know they have limited oxygen. It becomes an issue later on in the film
with the CO2 smokers.
But they're going on a relatively small rescue vessel to a ship that they don't know. It could be completely incapacitated, but still full of living people. And they're wasting oxygen by smoking on the vessel like that. Yeah, that was a bit much. But yeah, no, the grav couches are a nice touch, because it's not just the atypical science fiction of, we're going into suspended animation. It's actually addressing, well, no, we're going to be going so fast and pulling ridiculous G's that if you're just walking around the ship, you're going to be squished.
You're going to be soup. You're going to be escorted home in a bucket.
It's like you're going to be crushed by a ton of invisible lead soup.
Heavy electricity.
Yeah, but it's a nice little touch, and then you see that they're
suspended.
They're given a sedative, and then they're suspended in some form of liquid
and precious fluids.
But it's a nice little touch. We're not super far into the future. It's 2047.
Liquid oxygen. They breathe their own pee.
At any available opportunity, you'll love to bring that up.
Yes, I do.
But yeah, I thought that was a really nice little touch, just for we're not that far into the future. And even the Lewis and Clark does have a look like it's not too far off what we currently have.
The Lewis and Clark looks like an upscaled version of a space shuttle.
Yeah, it very much does.
They do. They have that, back, that was still very much the kind of shape. Essentially was still like, they're not being constructed in space. They seem to be getting launched. Because it's only when you get the weird shaped spaceships like the Enterprise, they're constructed in space, so they don't have to break atmosphere. Yeah. So it's not, they don't have...
Yeah, aerodynamics don't matter.
Yeah, they don't have to be in zero gravity or in 1G, so they don't need to, not fall out of the sky like fucking stone. But it does have that. It looks like a big ass, US military aircraft.
Yeah.
To a degree.
And then contrast it against the beautiful Event Horizon itself. Which has this real elegant avian look to it.
Yeah, it looks like a stretched out Romulan It looks like a stretched out Romulan warbird.
Yeah,
it's the little wings on the back. If you think about the old Star Trek movies, or again that Futurama episode where he had to take it out of its original packaging.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I was just going to say it was not unlike a swan silhouette when it's flying.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a beautiful ship, and
the big the window of it, the main galley window
at the front.
with the, like, it's a,
That's a cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's nice little bits of elements worked into the design like that, where you have this cross, but not a super obvious cross as the front window.
Yeah.
And where they board the ship is hatch number 13.
Oh yeah, just for shits and giggles.
Which, how did they not notice?
Yeah.
Obviously not superstitious.
I was just like, and I actually only noticed that on the last rewatch. Was like, oh fuck, it's number 13. Great.
But yeah, the contrast between the two ships of this one that's very much a functional rescue ship, and then this other thing that's this high-tech, state-of-the-art, almost, was secretive.
Yes.
This really fancy ship. And both the ships, actually, considering the film is 25 years old, look really well.
Oh yeah.
They still look really well. There was a lot of miniature work on this film.
There was a lot of miniature work on it.
VFX.
And the opening pan-out sequence from the near-Earth orbit station.
Oh, the little space station.
That pan-out, just to give you a sense of scope and scale, and that was all done with miniature work and a lipstick camera. But even still, that miniature was like... That miniature was huge. And I say miniature in the terms of like miniatures that are like
movies.
3 foot.
Yeah, movies miniatures.
Like the Blade Runner City miniature, which is, a whole room.
Yeah. This thing was like a room size and a good
They needed a
size.
70-foot pullback to get the full zoom.
Yeah.
Off lipstick camera. That's how big this thing is.
And that one shot... That, like, the finished shot
is like a massive chunk of their budget.
An entire third of the VFX budget. But it looks fantastic. It really does.
Because it's one of the establishing shots of the film as well. It works.
And
it makes it believable that this is in space, that this is a viable universe that you're in.
But I also feel it sets up the isolation of the film very well.
Yes.
Because Weir is the only character you see on the space station, and when it pulls out from the window he's looking out,
you never see anybody else.
Yeah, he's in like what looks like kind of a pod section. Now it's probably a pod section big enough for a load of people.
Yeah.
But as you pull back, there's loads of different pods and everything. I just felt it helped.
It's all very disparate. There wasn't like a big communal area.
And very disconnected. And it did kind of set the tone of isolation for me, for the film anyway. That when they are then on this ship, you feel like, okay.
Also, nice little side note there. When he opens the shutters on that little pod, it's the noise of the doors opening from the Doom video games.
Yes.
Because Doom, there's obviously quite a heavy Doom influence on this.
But it went full circle, because this film, I feel, took influence from the Doom video games in some ways.
Yeah.
But then...
The Doom film took influence from
then the Doom film and the 2002 or 2003 Doom 3 and Dead Space all definitely took inspiration from this.
There's so much in this that Dead Space just lifted.
Oh yeah, the med bay.
Oh my god, the med bay!
That med bay is straight out of Dead Space, or vice versa.
That med bay, they just lifted that whole thing for Dead Space. That's not a med bay you would get me into. I'm sorry. I'd rather bleed out on the side of the ship than give you put in there. That's where people die and there are evil shit.
They very much tried to base the design of the Event Horizon on Notre Dame Cathedral, and you can really see it in the med bay set.
The med bay set is terrifying.
You can see the kind of the Gothic structure and the arches.
Oh, the fluted columns. Yeah. And it is, the med bay set in particular is where you get these huge Gothic overtones, where you get the kind of buttresses and everything's very aligned with you've got the central corridor and then the 2 aisles on the sides, because the middle one's not the aisle.
Yeah.
It's the central passageway.
Yep.
But you have this, and you have this sense then as well of the ship as a whole, that you have this massive central passageway as well. And you'd have what's essentially the nave up at the top.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is kind of laid out on its side. So you'd have the nave and the altar, which is the control room. And then down the other end you have this massive power core.
Yeah, and even when
and actually either can function as an altar focal point. They almost kind of counterbalance each other, like that you have the end with the massive cross on it that is supposed to be the altar. And then you have the perversion of it at the other end.
I was just about to say, when you get from the ship has this long passageway down from the front to the back, and
as you cross over the 13th lock, essentially it starts to kind of become more sinister.
Yeah, and when you get to the back of the ship, they have this beautiful spinning tunnel.
Oh god, the nightmare tunnel.
It's explained in the film as being to do with helping the gravitational fields be contained. But you
can enter the chamber without disturbing the gravitational fields that are required for the core to work.
But the tunnel itself is very much like a descent, and was meant to kind of represent or be inspired by the 9 circles of hell.
Oh yeah.
With the gravity core behind the tunnel being the centre of hell itself, and that gravity core is beautiful.
Oh.
It is beautiful.
From the whole thing, number one, that door, all the set design on this is so stunning. You could literally just pause it and go through frame by frame because there's so much going on in it. But the whole central corridor is like this big kind of eye shape with this round door at the end that works as like the iris. There's
a huge amount of
like it's
eye imagery in this.
You always feel like you're being watched.
The long tunnel.
Yes.
Is the shape of an eye.
Yeah, and the doors then focus on either end, so you get the feeling like you're being watched from both sides. There's a lot of that feeling of like oppression. And
when the core activates.
The ship is only missing grotesques perched above doorways.
But and a couple of times when the gate activates, you see it reflected in people's irises and. The
initial
the concept of eyes and being watched, and I think eyes being windows to the soul and the darker parts of the soul are very, very not heavily used, but like heavily present in this.
Yeah,
it's not over the top.
They don't smack you in the head with it, but it is there, and it's just nice little flashes. But that
and considering the director we're talking about, he could easily have smacked us over the head.
But that initial sequence where Justin opens the door and you're in the spinning tunnel, which the tunnel's spinning one way and the camera spins the other way, and we have a very big screen, and I nearly fell off the fucking sofa.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy that.
I don't enjoy that.
Neither did the actors or the cameraman.
No, I don't. No, I can't. I have very bad inner ear balance issues, so that just made me very nauseous. But when the inner door then opens and you're confronted by this big half moon circular almost room with this, it's almost like a gyroscope in the middle where it's this globe with 3 rings spinning around it. And as he walks up to it, all 3 of them align and then flash. And it's just so beautiful. Initially, and it's so powerful of an image of this because they have like they all just flash and then they keep on going.
There's something very arcane about the design.
Yes.
And I was reading, initially they had planned on having the core as being this kind of featureless black orb that would form a black hole when the gate was active. And they decided to go for what we got in the film instead. As a kind of a nod to the
noise of it rotating.
Oh yeah, no, but the visuals of it, it's a nod to the puzzle box from Hellraiser. And I think it works way better. And you do get, when the gate activates, you do get that featureless black orb. And it looks cool.
But it would be nothing without the rings going around it. Yeah, and this room that looks like it's made out of like round shields and spikes. It looks like it should be in Mordhouse, by the way. It's very Death Clock. It's
it's very Death Clock. It's brutal.
It's very brutal. But it is just, and this chamber that it's in is just this oppressive chamber that's like quite dull. Well, like it's quite dark. It's very moody. And then you just have these lights that are on the rings illuminating sections of it as well.
Yeah, it's like beautiful and terrifying at the same time. And it has...
Like sticking your dick in a blender.
It's got this like
presence,
unexplainable fascination to it. Even just watching it, like, you know what I mean? So the whoever built that set and designed it, like, give that man all the money.
The thing I love is the noise of it as it's rotating. It has this slight grating stone sound to it that gives this thing weight and ancient quality. It comes across like something that was built years, like, and that has been lost and just found again, and we still don't fucking know what it is. Like, they buried it. It's like a Stargate. They buried it.
Yeah, it does.
It has that kind of feeling to it.
Considering that the film is this sci-fi horror, and we're talking about a really fancy, high-tech, state-of-the-art ship that has kind of got this ancient evil manifesting itself inside it. Now, had they gone for the featureless black orb with the shiny rings around it, I don't think it would have worked as well. But because at the core of this beautiful, like, slick ship, you've got this ancient arcane looking thing, but it also still does look technological. It really helps add to that, I think.
Yes. No,
I think without the core being the way it is, I don't think this film would hold me the way it does.
No.
Yeah, I love that core.
The core room in itself is just, it's a masterpiece.
And obviously, plot-wise, is very important to the film, so you couldn't remove it anyway. But yeah, just the visuals of that core.
It is. It's mesmerising, and it's exactly what it should be. Honestly, the way they use the 3 rings when they do light up and they flash, Because when Justin walks in there and they light up and they align, the core actually opens.
Yeah.
And that's the first time you see what this thing is. And he walks, and I'm going to have a little moment here to talk about scientists and characters doing stupid things. He walks up to it and he pokes it.
And he's an engineer. He's the engineer character. That's why they send him down to the core in the first place.
You don't poke it.
Yeah.
It's doing weird shit. We know the ship disappeared for 7 years because we think the core malfunctioned. Don't poke it.
Yeah.
And what's it do? It eats its face.
Yeah. But
it doesn't. But yeah.
Equally, in terms of like talking about like the core and how it adds to it and the tunnel, the bridge of the ship as well has some really nice little bits. Not just the cross. The chair,
the captain's chair is the most ominous looking thing I've ever fucking seen. Yeah, it has all these like pipes and stuff coming off it that are probably supposed to be functional. Do you know what? That captain's chair looks like it came from Brazil, the movie. No, because there's a couple of sequences in Brazil, is particularly with the women getting the facelifts and they're like clipping shit back and stuff, and the chairs have these mad like drills and things, all these like utensils that are supposed to be for beautification, but they're really for like, they're these horrific looking scalpels and things like that. That's what the ship's chair reminds me of.
Yeah, to me,
you're plugged into the ship.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it looked like to me when characters are sitting in that chair. It looks like,
especially when Sam Neill's in that chair.
Yeah, when you sit into it, it makes it look like you're kind of plugged into the ship and you are a part of it. And there's this weird kind of almost symbiotic thing, like the crew is a part of the ship and beholden to the ship, and just these little aspects of set design and set decoration that really do add to the
law of this ship, where when they're running through the corridors there's no distinction between corridors. It's very claustrophobic. Then you get the only real open spaces you have in this ship are, because even the bridge is very claustrophobic feeling.
Yeah,
is the massive gantry, the central gantry corridor.
Yeah.
And then the core room are the only two areas that are quite open.
Yeah, everything else is very kind of claustrophobic. Even the med bay, which is a large
room, that fucking med bay.
But it has all these arches, and it makes, even though it's a big room, it makes it feel like it's closed in.
Yeah, because it's a cloister. It is actually technically a cloister. Yeah. And then they've got that back wall that looks like human skin.
Yeah.
When I was saying, I was like, look, it's a wraith ship. It has that same like human skin membrane texture. Also, why are there a shitload of x-rays of human skulls? There's the bit where she's pacing up and down and there's a load of x-rays of a human skull. What the fuck were you doing on this ship?
That bit where she's pacing up and down.
Yes, that is an amazing scene.
And Justin gets back up off the bed. The way that's done is beautiful. That's all I'll say about it. I really like that. But yeah, there's so many nice little visual things in this, like the eye shots that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And the sets are constructed so well, and even the VFX for a 25-year-old film, because they didn't go the Alien 3 route of full VFX, but they used a lot of miniatures and then VFX touch-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah, taking out strings, polishing up things.
Yeah, the only things to me that looked really dodgy were the very start. The kind of the black hole effect during the credits were kind of shit.
That swirly black hole look, yeah.
And then there's one or two other small bits.
Also, to point out, we are very biased on how Event Horizons appear in things because we're massive Stargate fans. And Stargate could do it in blue with multiple light sources reflecting a water-like effect onto an actor's face. You're doing it in the black with no light sources. It should be better.
Yeah, and one was a TV budget and this was a movie budget. But anyway...
I'm also talking about the movie which came out in 1994, but yes, also the TV show went on and did it as well.
Yeah, the same year that this was out. But yeah, it's literally only one or two shots and they are the full, where they've gone full CG, that they haven't aged well. They say one of them is in the credits, so it's not that big of a thing.
Yeah.
And the other one is really only kind of like a small shot later on when Cooper's out in space that I was a bit like, oh, that looks a bit shit.
Yeah.
But the rest of it all looks fantastic. The ships look amazing. As you said, the space station looks amazing.
Again, miniature, doing things in camera will always age better. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of puppetry work in things as well. I always think that in camera will look better than VFX.
And even the small little things like...
Well, like, not VFX, but like heavy CG use. Not to shit on the Harry Potter franchise, but the first film looks fucking terrible now.
Yeah, and we said this once or twice before already. In-camera effects do not age like
Jurassic Park!
Yeah. And this film still looks fantastic, I think. As I say, there's one or two small bits, but
where
the scene where they do where they turn the gravity back on, and all the coolant that's floating around in spheres.
That is just such a pretty scene.
Just turns to liquid in midair, and then drops the way you'd expect water to drop. And
there's also the corpse, the corpsicle.
Oh yeah, corpse that's been in a deep freeze. Who shatters when he drops.
Around. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful little shot as well.
And again, it's all done practically, and we do have our copy of Event Horizon. We do actually have it on DVD. We got it because it has special features. Generally, if something comes with a massive second disc of special features, we tend to buy it.
Yeah.
And they did speak an awful lot about the majority of this movie was going to be wire work and in 0G, and they realised very quick into filming it that wasn't going to be viable. Because the spacesuits, number one, way to fucked on. So they couldn't keep the actors in them. And then they couldn't keep them suspended for that long either.
Yeah.
So they were like, mag boots. Mag boots solve all the problems.
Yep.
And so you have the sequence then of them going across the umbilical from the rescue ship, from the Lewis and Clark, into Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Which they basically just lowered them down.
Yeah.
They've shot it all vertically.
And then get somebody to say, mag boots on.
And clunk, clunk. And they were golden then for the rest of the film.
Yeah. But it's clever things like that where they worked within their restrictions.
But their DP had done a lot of work on Alien and little tricks and things like that about how to get around stuff, and then their
set designer had worked on Alien doing the spacesuits in Alien.
To stop them fogging up and things like that. So they were able to come up with things that they knew worked, and were like, oh, if you just say it, even just throwing out something like, why don't we have mag boots? That way they can stick to things. They'd already been established within other universes.
Yeah.
People will believe it. Let's use that. Easy. And then we don't have to dangle people upside down for 10 minutes until they pass out.
Yeah.
Or throw up in the helmet.
But this is another one like Perfect Creature, where the world building in the film is done, for me, in a really nice, believable, not heavy-handed way.
Yeah, well, the only part of the world you see is either is him alone on his space station in his little fucking room.
I don't mean the physical world.
No, but for it to only be on the Lewis and Clark and on the Event Horizon, you believe all the stuff that's going on and the history of all of these people without having to be shown it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the way in which it's constructed through the sets and through the visuals is similar in what I liked about Perfect Creature.
Yeah.
None of it was super heavy-handed. Some people might think it was, but I didn't think any of it was particularly heavy-handed.
The only bit I thought that was really heavy-handed was the exposition on how, in that briefing sequence when they're talking about the science of it, and he goes and picks up the nudie girl poster, and Smithy's like, hey, that's mine!
Yeah.
I'd like her back.
But yeah, that's...
when he's doing that, but I also understand that that's for audience benefit as well.
Yeah, that annoyed me a little bit for two reasons. One, now, okay, this was 1997, but we've seen the piece of paper folded in half to demonstrate faster than light travel a million times.
Again, Stargate did it hilariously with a stick.
But what really annoyed me about it was these are people who work on a spaceship for a living.
Smithy's a pilot.
When
She's
you
a
mention,
lieutenant and a navigator. They understand
when you
the maths
mention
of this.
a black hole and faster than light travel, and then the crew go, oh, what are you talking about? You can't break the laws of physics. No, these guys work on a spaceship. Even if they are working class spaceship people, they understand theoretical concepts like faster than light travel.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah,
he was talking to a lieutenant who was their navigator, so she's good with numbers. Their pilot, who's obviously good with numbers.
Yeah. And it's the pilot who goes really all like, oh, you can't break the laws of physics. And a guy, for a character like that who's obsessed with his ship and keeping it top notch.
And his nudie magazines.
Yeah, he'd be up on that kind of thing.
Yeah, and an engineer as well. Now, in fairness, it's Cooper who's like layman's terms, and he is kind of he's very much the everyman on the ship. He's not the one who's got a specific...
Well, he's a rescue technician. That's his actual job, is a rescue technician. So he doesn't need to know how a spaceship works. He just needs to know how to rescue people.
He knows how to get people out and things like that.
But that bit's a bit heavy-handed, and you're right, it is. It's only to explain faster than light travel to the audience.
Yeah, now bear in mind they had a lot of problems with this being edited in time frames and things like that, and I still don't think that Paul W.S. Anderson is actually happy with... He has stated in a lot of interviews that the version of the film that went out he's not
overly proud of it.
But he would have liked to have gone back for more work, but unfortunately they did try to go back to do a director's cut, but because this was pre-DVD, people did, and director's cuts weren't really a thing.
Well, they were,
except for Blade Runner.
Yeah, there was a few, but yeah, most of the original footage
has been
gone.
Lost.
Yeah, lost, destroyed, or degraded. Too bad to be used. Yeah. But no, I think it's
Also, Jason Isaacs' full body cast has gone missing too.
I don't necessarily want it. I've seen a lot of people talk about a director's cut of this film. I don't necessarily want a director's cut of this film. It's enough for me to know the bullshit that Paul Anderson went through.
Yeah.
That
to
kind of
this.
To produce this, that kind of, it excuses some of the things that I don't like about this film. To me, it excuses some of the stuff I don't like about this film. Going back and adding in a whole lot there's a few bits, like I know that nearly all of the crew have their own backstories and their own kind of visions.
I don't really think it's necessary.
Yeah, well, seeing a few more of those would have been okay. And there's one or two other scenes that are in the...
I don't think having all their backstories would have been necessary because you get that brilliant sequence at the end when you have all those flashes of all of the crew. So that's enough.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't need to... No, and to see all 8 sequences, or to get all 8 backstories and then all 8 scare sequences related to the backstories would definitely have been a lot. But you could have maybe put in 1 or 2 more. There's a few bits that I could see you would add in that would help, but I don't think it needs it. And one thing that people always talk about on the internet...
Oh, the hell sequences.
...is the hell sequences.
No,
people are always
they
like...
should be short and snippy and stay with you.
If we could find... People are always like, oh, if there was a director's cut, imagine getting like the full version of the hell sequences. And from a...
But it's the whole behind the... It's the Wizard of Oz. It's when you pull back the curtain and you get to see it all in all its gore. It's not as horrifying.
Yeah, like I'd like to see what was filmed just from out of curiousness.
Yeah, well,
but I wouldn't like it put back into the film.
Well, they did put a lot of effort into it. They did get people who were genuine amputees. They got
porn stars.
They got porn stars who specialised in kind of the more niche areas of fetishism.
Well, I think it was more just these people wouldn't mind being naked and covered in blood.
It's the easiest day's work they had that week.
If you're sick motherfuckers like we are, you can get the special edition DVD of this, and when you watch the making of documentary on it,
there is more clips.
Well, it's not even as more clips, but there's a ton of stills. All the bits that you see in the films that are just like 1 and 2 frame flashes, they put up on screen for a couple of seconds as stills, and you can see some of this gore is like fucking intense.
Yeah.
Like really, really intense. And if you put it on screen as like, if they just, when the characters see that hell orgy, you only see a couple of seconds of it, and it's flashes and stuff like that in other parts of the movie. If they just sat down and watched 2 minutes of that hell orgy and showed it to us in the film, it'd be like, okay, this is shocking, but it's not scary. It's just gore.
And the fact that it's very jumpy and it cuts between, and it's like cameras being jostled around the place, so you never kind of fully identify what's going on.
Yeah,
it's just, and the noise,
and that might be playing against type for us to not want more horrible hellish gore, but
fairness,
it would spoil it.
Like, honestly, when you show everything for what it is and for shock value and for no other reason but to shock people, you get the Human Centipede too. And that film will haunt me for the rest of my days. Whereas this, I enjoy it. I like the aspects of these glimpses into hell. Like, they're very much inspired by the Hieronymus Bosch.
And
pictures of these snapshots of hell, where it's if you ever look at any of his work, and it's these massive paintings, and there's just like, as you look in at it, you can see these tiny details of these horrific things happening, but the whole picture is beautiful.
Yeah, and I've always been of the opinion as well that the monster is always scarier in your head.
First Alien proved that, where you never ever see the xenomorph.
And Paul Anderson
said... It's only ever the little shadows of it. Paul Anderson says that my history with Alien. Like, I watched it as a very small child, which I shouldn't have, and then did not watch it for about 20 years.
Paul Anderson said that he very much took inspiration from those kind of films where you don't see the monster. And when you see the monster, it's not scary anymore. And that's very much the case with any of the hell sequences or the hell flashes. They are so effective because they are just that. They are just flashes. And you're like, shit, did I really just see what I thought I saw? And you're left with it in your head.
Now, unfortunately,
when you see it on screen,
I don't think you can use the 1 frame flashes anymore. Are they banned?
No, they haven't.
Oh, have they not? I thought they were.
No, subliminal advertising doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
And it's...
but
it's something that we looked at in college.
Oh, okay.
Subliminal advertising...
I just had something in my head that they're putting that into movies they are into... But works because it lingers, and you always have that whole, like, the fuck was that?
Yeah, but that's not subliminal, because we actually saw it, but we saw it for just long enough to be like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, what? And yeah, no, I love it. I think it's done expertly well. It's some of the best gore in films. That's not gore for the sake of gore.
Yeah.
It serves its purpose beautifully and perfectly as far as I'm concerned.
It doesn't need more than what they've given. They already feel unsettled. Miller says it himself, this place is a tomb. The ship has just been shut down. The core is still active. They've switched off the gravity. It's still got atmosphere, but they've switched off the gravity and the heating. So everything's completely frozen when they get there. And he says it. He's like, this place is a tomb. They can't get life signs. It's very, very bizarre. They do come across kind of bits of various crew members.
Yeah, and
over
one or
the
two whole corpses, but that's it. There was a whole crew on board.
There was 21 in the crew, and I think they come across maybe 2 full people.
Yeah.
And from the flashes, there were limbs being ripped off. There's people being eaten. There's people pulling bits out of themselves. It is just...
Especially when you're talking about...
I read 120 Days of Sodom, and I ain't got nothing on this.
But especially when you're talking about something like hell.
Yeah.
Like, we know what vampires are, and we know what zombies are, and we know what werewolves are, but hell can be this very nondescript concept, and I always find it is better when it's left vague.
Yes.
Because it can be as scary as you want it to be. Also,
the notion in this as well is that, yes, the ship went to hell, but there's also the notion that the ship went to a different reality.
Yeah, it's never explicitly...
That's 100% pure evil. It's never fully... from a theological standpoint, it's never this actual physical... metaphysical idea we have is represented as this dimension that fucks with us.
It's a concept that shows up in a few things. You get it a bit in like Lovecraft mythology, you get it a bit in things like Supernatural and stuff like that.
Oh, the hell is in another dimension.
Yeah, entirely. Where what we consider hell is actually another just dimension of pure evil, and that's where we got the idea of hell from in the first place. And this plays with that a little bit, and there were earlier versions of the script where it was specifically supposed to be this ridiculously ancient evil that's been around since the start.
Oh, nice Eldritch god.
Yeah.
I do enjoy an Eldritch.
But they in the end they decided to roll it back a little bit and leave it more vague.
Yeah, it's better off being vague, that it's this unknown, because the great unknown is always scarier than anything defined.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And leaving it as being some vague thing, this being an area of particular interest to me because I'm weird. If you go through Paradise Lost, if you go through Dante's Inferno, things like that, descriptions of hell do vary depending on what sort of a state you're in. Yeah. And then even going further back into mythology, when you look at the Greek underworld and you've got the Elysian Fields
and Tartarus. Yeah, the various.
Where, the underworld is just one world and it has different realms. So having it be this one specific location that is just not necessarily where bad people go or where bad things are, but it makes it in and of itself makes people act out these horrendous dark fantasies is an interesting concept.
Yeah, no, I can't praise this film enough. I love it. I really do love it. There's a few things, like there's so much trivia in and around this film to do with the cuts and the extended runtime.
They had a horrible time with the studio making this. They were given a really narrow window to do all their post-production in. But for the time crunch that they had, this film
it's excellent. Yeah. I love it. But there's
it's one of those ones where I almost feel like if they had too much time, they would have overdone it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's real cool trivia around the production of the film and the making of the film, but then there's just other random bits of trivia that I found that were cool. Like Kurt Russell went to the launch screening of the film because he was going to be working with Paul Anderson on Soldier soon. And told him after the film, he said, look, ignore what the critics are saying. He said, 15 years from now, this is going to be the film that you're proud you made and you're glad you made. And Kurt Russell was right about that one.
Yeah.
And then there's cool things like there's an X-Wing model in the antenna structure of the that you can just about make out in one of the scenes.
Just before it gets crushed.
Yeah, that was another thing that I thought was really cool. When they dock with the Event Horizon, the Lewis and Clark clamps onto an antenna array.
Never! Clamp onto something essential like an antenna array. What are you doing?
Weir even says that, that's not a load-bearing structure. And Smithy's like, it is now. And it's just kind of left at that. And you
later on, guess what they need? The fucking antenna array!
But then later on, they're stuck on the Event Horizon. And they're like, shit, we better call for help. Oh no, the antenna array is fucked.
Because we crushed it. Also, why do you only have one? You build in redundancies.
But there's
I'd have been mad at Weir over that one.
There's loads of cool little trivia. I think the horror elements were definitely helped by the fact that Clive Barker was a consultant on it early on. There's cool little things about the flags. They're all
the actors' country flags. They're slightly modified.
Yeah. Sam Neill's character has an Australian flag, but the Union Jack is taken out of it, and the country's Aboriginal flag is in place of it.
Yes.
And interestingly, Paul Anderson was so into making this film, he turned down the 2000 X-Men, the 1998 X-Files, and Alien Resurrection to make this film.
Okay, I think Bryan Singer did a good job with the first X-Men.
Yep, Alien Resurrection was a joke. The X-Files movie was fine.
I have a soft spot for Alien Resurrection because it's the movie where everybody gets it. Nobody's off limits in Alien. Oh no, Alien Resurrections. I'm thinking of AVP 2. Sorry, don't mind me.
Everybody dies in AVP 2. Although, in fairness, he did end up coming...
Which one was Alien Resurrection? Was that the one with the stupid white alien?
It's the fourth film, yeah.
Where that gets
with
sucked
the weird
out the
clone
hole?
Thing.
Oh, that's a bad film.
Well, but Paul W.S. Anderson did end up going back to the Alien franchise because he directed AVP, the first one.
I love that first one. That is such
That's
a fun film.
Definitely a guilty pleasure of ours. Definitely a guilty pleasure of ours.
That is such a fun film. But the puzzle box of the pyramid, again, is just it's such a fun device.
Yeah, and Paul W.S. Anderson wears his influences on his sleeve, but I think in this film in particular, in a very good way.
Yes.
This is very, there's very obvious homages to Alien in this.
In fairness, it'll take a lot for me not to like him because he made Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and another guilty pleasure of mine is the Resident Evil films.
Yeah,
they're his too.
Yeah,
so
like he does make some like hilariously fun stuff.
Oh
whereas this is actually genuinely scary.
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat is fun and silly. Resident Evil is fun and silly. Was he involved in Underworld at any point?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, similar sensibilities, but no, that was Len Wiseman.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's
like my Paul W. I know with a Paul W.S. Anderson, I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah. Generally, I know what I'm getting in for.
Unless it's like Resident Evil. What are they up to now?
Well, he didn't direct all of them. I think of the 6 or 7 of them, he only directed 3 or 4.
Yeah. But you generally know you're going to have a good time with his films.
Yeah.
But this is one that will actually kind of properly give you the willies.
And for the amount of gore in it, there's not a super huge body count, and the deaths don't start mad early on in the film.
There's not a super massive cast.
No,
you've got a limited cast there. You can't just eat them all in one
for
go.
a film that has so much horror in it,
yes,
I was surprised at the fact that the first death is really quite far into the film.
Yeah, no, but you need the horror and the suspense there, and you need the cast. You have the crew starting to question what they're seeing and what's going on and turning against each other, and because this ship is so massive and seems to have this amazing ability to separate crew out from each other. Just by the fact that it is an immense vessel. You see that when you see the Lewis and Clark, when it first approaches it and it's like right on top of them, and it's
the beautiful scale shot, and
it's just like the Lewis and Clark is just in front of that massive window.
Yeah.
And then it moves around the side. So just by the fact that this thing is immense, the crew, the 6 or 7 person crew, you've got Smithy and Cooper out working on the Lewis and Clark because they've suffered some damage.
Yeah.
So they're doing repairs. So they're like halfway down the ship. You've got...
No, everybody's very separated in this film. That was why I was talking about the isolation earlier. You do get that there's they separate, a lot of horrible shit happens, they come back together for a bit and then they separate out again. Yeah. So that helps with the isolation
honestly,
in the
buddy
film.
system would have helped a lot in this. The buddy system would have helped a lot. And then their camaraderie and their relationships as well do come into play a lot when you see how they're reacting to other members of the crew.
Yeah, I find
starting to lose it.
I find you believe these guys as a crew who have worked together
because they're getting spooked by the other people getting spooked.
Yeah, and there does seem to be like these are existing relationships. They're not just a bunch of people who just suddenly existed the second we started watching them.
Yeah.
I like that. It helps to kind of add to this feel of a lived-in world. But that's all the things I loved about the film. I mentioned 1 or 2 negative things to do with the CG, but there's nothing
also,
really...
can we just give a shout out to all the prosthetic work in this?
Prosthetic work is amazing. CG work is amazing.
Considering there's a lot of people with a lot of like carving into themselves an awful lot. especially in the hell sequences you got. There's a lot of, like, if you're not good with maggots, do not watch this movie, just in general.
Yeah.
But the prosthetic work in general across this film is
it's amazing. Yeah, no, most of the visual work is amazing. As I say, it's only the one or two small full VFX shots that are a bit dodgy. And there's only one or two plot elements that annoy me. Mostly the crew being unnecessarily stupid when they're having faster than light travel explained to them.
One thing that really bothered me in this film, and it's such a little foibly nitpick.
I think I know what you're going to say.
The fucking captain's chair on the Lewis and Clark that's hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say.
What? The fuck? Like, everyone else is in a fixed chair. He's in this, like, fucking Baby Bjorn kitty bouncer thing hanging off the ceiling, looking like he should be strapped into it, because he is hanging onto it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it looks like an old Thunderbirds thing where he's just like zooming up and down in this chair.
Yeah,
on the one, it only goes up, like, up and down that little tiny, like, bit.
Yeah, it goes forward and back and he can turn around in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just, when they're coming in through the atmosphere and everybody's kind of very secure, like, Sam Neill's character is able to walk across it and he's swinging around the place.
I can see no reason, no in-world reason for that chair to exist. I literally, that was somebody on set who just thought that looked fucking cool.
Yeah,
and they built it in.
Was it to try and distinguish it from the chair on the? Because it's a very different chair to the one on the Event Horizon.
That's a good point. Yeah, like it could be because the one on the Event Horizon very
it's
much
kind of
throne. It's a throne that comes up from the floor and then has all these bits that kind of spread out from the top that are connected into the ship that we were talking about. Whereas this is just one thing kind of suspended.
But he's so. I'm sorry, Lawrence Fishburne in that thing getting shook around the place. It just looks so undignified.
I don't know what they were going for, but at least it's fucking funny to watch.
It is hilarious.
And speaking of kind of funny foibles and nitpicky bits, the only other thing is that very plot convenient door towards the end of the film when the window gets blasted out.
Oh, the door that takes its sweet time.
Yeah, a window gets blasted out and all the
atmosphere. The only window on that whole fucking ship. Yeah. Can I point out?
Yeah. And it gets blasted
Also,
out.
do not shoot boomstick in Space Canoe.
No, do not shoot boomstick in Space Canoe.
Cause explosive decompression.
Well, yeah, that was the other thing is Sam Neill's character is threatening to shoot somebody and they say, oh, well, if you miss...
You'll damage the ship.
You'll damage the hull. And he says, what makes you think I'll miss? And then something happens and he immediately intentionally shoots out the only window on the ship when 2 seconds previously he was like, I won't miss and hit the hull. He's like, now I'm going to just put us all at risk.
Yeah, fuck you.
But yeah, when all the atmosphere is getting sucked out and everybody's trying to hang on, nothing happens for about 2 minutes until one of the characters gets through a door. And then the door is like, oh shit, I'm a bulkhead. I'd better close and start setting off an alarm. So he has a very plot convenient door.
I thought you were going to talk about Sam Neill's really, really, really unconvincing scream.
Oh, that was just funny. That wasn't something that really annoyed me. But yeah, when Sam Neill early on in the film is scared by something and just goes, ah!
But there's no emotion on the face, which is the best part.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
It's like his face forgot to do the job.
Yeah. But again, no, they are all relatively small nitpicks.
No.
And I do really, really love this film, and I really want Metacritic and Rotten Tomato to fuck off.
Yeah.
I really do. But that's Event Horizon.
It's basically, it's a cult classic now. Go check it out. Not good if you don't like an old psychological horror.
I mean, at this point, if you've listened to our first couple of episodes, you probably have an idea of what we like in films and what we don't like in films. And yeah, this has a lot of what we like.
Yeah.
This has a lot of what we like. It's got some good sci-fi. It's got some good horror. It's got some fun characters.
There's one jump scare in it, but it comes so early on that it just gets out of the way. It's like the one prerequisite jump scare.
There's a couple of jump scares, but they're really not obvious. Terrible. Yeah, there's one that's really obvious, but the rest of them aren't too bad. And yeah, for a film that has the bad review that it has, it could have been full of shitty jump scares.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No, it is. It's well worth a watch.
Yeah, no, we as usual, we highly recommend it. We hope we didn't spoil too much for you on this one. But
I actually don't think we did, because we touched on very little of it.
Apart from the hell element, which is a big plot element, but we couldn't talk about Event Horizon without talking about the hell element.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't seen it, we hope we didn't spoil too much for you. If you have seen it, we hope you want to go back and watch it again after listening to us.
Yeah.
We will be back next week. We're going to do a comedy next week, guys. We swear.
We actually might.
I'm legally obliged to say at this point, we're going to try a comedy next week.
We actually might. There's two that I've been wanting to do. Unfortunately, they're both horror comedies. So...
Yeah, you're not going to get it.
It'll be funny. It'll still have blood and gore in it and body parts, but it might be funny.
Yeah. But we will be back next week, guys. We don't know what film because we never do. I'll probably let you guys know on Twitter. One small bit of announcement. We have an Instagram account now. It's MonoRants _the_boys. So if you're on Instagram, you can find us there too.
We're still trying to figure it out, so bear with us.
Yeah, I've got like 2 posts up there at the minute. So yeah, let us figure it out. Or help us figure it out. We're still on Twitter like we always were at RantsMono.
Seriously, please help us.
Yeah. And you can send us an email to the normal monorantspodcast@gmail.com. You can go back and listen to our other podcasts if you haven't, or you can check out our boys podcast where we have every episode and one even.
They are slightly less psychotic than these ones.
Slightly. Marginally less rambly, marginally less psychotic, equally swear-filled.
Yes.
But hey, look, we hope you like what we do. And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are MonoRants.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Sci-Fi